Has your elderly loved one been showing small but unusual changes lately? Maybe they seem more tired than usual, or they're losing weight without explanation. These might seem like minor issues, just part of getting older. But what if they aren't? What if these are the body's early warnings, signs that life is entering its final chapter? Most people assume that death happens suddenly. But in reality, the body often gives signals, sometimes a full year in advance. The problem is, these signs are easy to overlook. Families realize too late, when precious time has already slipped away. In today's video, we'll uncover 5 key signs that an elderly loved one may be in their final year. Recognizing these early can give you the chance to prepare, to provide comfort, create lasting memories, and ensure their final days are filled with dignity and peace. Stay with us until the end, because understanding these signs now will help you make the most of the time you have left with those you love. Sign number 1, unexplained weight loss. One of the earliest and most noticeable signs that an elderly person may be approaching their final year is unintentional weight loss. At first, it might not seem like a big deal. Clothes begin to fit more loosely, belts need another notch, and rings slip off fingers a little easier. Many families assume this is just part of aging, but when a person loses weight without trying, it's often a red flag that something deeper is happening inside the body. As people grow older, their digestive system slows down, making it harder for the body to absorb essential nutrients. This can lead to a gradual loss of both fat and muscle mass, making a person weaker over time. Muscle loss in particular can make everyday activities, like standing, walking, or even holding a cup of tea, feel more difficult than before. This physical decline also increases the risk of falls, which can be dangerous for elderly individuals. A loss of appetite often accompanies this weight loss. Food no longer seems as appealing, and meals that were once enjoyed might be left unfinished. It isn't just a matter of taste changing with age. It's a biological shift. When the body starts preparing for its natural shutdown, hunger signals become weaker. The body no longer needs as much energy, so it stops seeking food as frequently. Families may try to encourage their loved one to eat more, offering favorite meals or nutritional supplements, but the body is in decline. Forcing large meals won't help. Instead, it becomes more important to focus on foods that are easy to eat, small portions that provide comfort, and keeping them hydrated as much as possible. In some cases, weight loss can also be a sign of an underlying medical condition. Chronic illnesses like heart disease, kidney failure, or even undiagnosed cancer can cause the body to lose weight unexpectedly. Cognitive conditions, such as dementia or depression, can also play a role. Someone with memory loss may forget to eat, while a person struggling emotionally may simply lose interest in food altogether. If you've noticed unexplained weight loss in your loved one, take a moment to observe their daily habits. Are they eating less than usual? Do they seem weaker or less energetic? Have their clothes become noticeably looser? If the answers are yes, it's important to recognize that this isn't just about physical appearance. It's the body sending a message. Understanding this message now can help you prepare for what's ahead with clarity, compassion, and a focus on making every remaining moment meaningful. Sign number 2, extreme fatigue and weakness. One of the most noticeable changes in the year leading up to the end of life is a deep, persistent fatigue that doesn't go away with rest. It's not just feeling a little tired after a long day. It's a profound exhaustion that makes even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Getting out of bed becomes a challenge. Walking across the room requires effort, and activities that once felt routine, like dressing, cooking, or even having a conversation, start to feel too draining. This exhaustion isn't just a result of old age. It's the body conserving its remaining energy, prioritizing only the most essential functions. As organ function slows, the heart doesn't pump as efficiently, circulation weakens, and muscles no longer receive the same level of oxygen they once did. This is why many elderly individuals in their final months begin sleeping more during the day, needing longer naps, and finding it harder to stay awake for extended periods. Sometimes this fatigue comes in waves. One moment, a person may seem alert and engaged, and the next, they're completely drained, unable to keep their eyes open. For family members, this can be difficult to watch, especially when it happens suddenly. It's easy to assume that a loved one just needs to be more active to push through their tiredness. But the reality is, forcing activity won't help. The body is shifting toward preservation, and pushing beyond its limits can make exhaustion even worse. For seniors who have always prided themselves on their independence, this stage can be particularly frustrating. They may feel embarrassed that they can no longer do things they once could, or they might start withdrawing from conversations, avoiding social gatherings, or even losing interest in hobbies they once loved. It's not that they don't care. It's that they simply don't have the energy to participate the way they used to. Over time, this withdrawal can lead to isolation, making their decline even faster. If you notice a loved one experiencing deep and ongoing fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, take it as a sign that their body is going through a major transition. Instead of encouraging them to do more, focus on making their remaining time as comfortable as possible. Create moments of peace where they can rest without guilt. Engage in quiet activities, like listening to their favorite music or sitting together in a calm space. Let them sleep when they need to, without the pressure of keeping up with daily routines. This is a time to cherish conversations, even if they are short. It's a time to offer support without expectations. Because in the end, what matters most isn't how much they can do. It's that they feel loved, understood, and at ease. If this is resonating with you, let us know in the comments. Share your experience or simply comment number 2 to let us know you're here. Sign number 3, cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal. As a person approaches the final stage of life, one of the most striking changes can be seen in how they think, communicate, and interact with others. You might notice that someone who was once sharp and engaged starts to forget things more often. They might struggle to follow conversations or seem disoriented in familiar places. Sometimes they repeat themselves without realizing it, forget important names, or lose track of time, even when they never had memory issues before. These changes can start subtly, happening only once in a while, but over time, they become more frequent and more noticeable. The person might pause mid-sentence, struggling to find the right word. They may suddenly forget how to do routine tasks, like using the TV remote or following a simple recipe. For families, it can be hard to tell whether this is just normal forgetfulness or something more serious. But when these moments of confusion become common, it's often a sign that the brain is undergoing significant changes. What many people don't realize is that just like the body, the brain also requires a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients to function properly. As circulation slows and oxygen levels drop, cognitive function begins to decline. This can cause a person to become easily confused, make poor decisions, or even fail to recognize people and places they've known for years. Some days, they may seem completely fine, holding conversations, remembering details, and going about their normal routine. But other days, they might seem lost, unsure where they are or why they walked into a room. This cognitive decline doesn't just affect memory. It also impacts a person's emotions. Many elderly individuals in their final year begin to withdraw from social interactions. They might stop calling family members, avoid gatherings, or spend long periods sitting in silence. It's not that they don't care. It's that their brain no longer processes emotions and engagement the same way. Conversations start to feel exhausting, loud environments become overwhelming, and eventually, many seniors retreat into their own world. Some individuals may also experience sudden changes in mood or personality. A once patient and kind person might become irritable or anxious. Someone who was always independent may suddenly seem indifferent to their surroundings. They might lose interest in hobbies, stop watching their favorite TV shows, or simply sit and stare at nothing for long periods. This isn't just a shift in personality. It's often the brain adjusting to the body's gradual decline. For family members, this stage can be particularly difficult. Watching a loved one lose touch with reality, even for brief moments, can feel like losing them before they are actually gone. But it's important to remember that this isn't something they can control. Instead of trying to correct them or bring them back into conversations, the best thing you can do is meet them where they are. Speak gently, offer reassurance, and understand that even if they don't always respond, they can still feel your presence. If you notice a loved one becoming more forgetful, more confused, or less engaged with the world around them, don't ignore it. These are often early signs that the body and mind are preparing for the final transition. This is a time to be patient, to cherish quiet moments, and to focus on creating an environment that feels safe, familiar, and peaceful. Because even when words fade, love and comfort can still be felt. Sign number 4, frequent infections and slow healing. As the body begins to wind down, one of the clearest physical signs is a weakened immune system. You might notice that someone who rarely got sick before now seems to catch every cold, every flu, every minor infection that goes around. What used to be minor illnesses now take much longer to recover from, and simple wounds like a small cut or bruise heal at a noticeably slower rate. These changes aren't random. They are signs that the body is no longer able to defend and repair itself the way it once did. One of the biggest concerns during this stage is repeated infections. Pneumonia, urinary tract infections, UTIs, skin infections, and even oral infections become more common as the immune system weakens. Many families assume these are just isolated illnesses, but when they start happening frequently or take an unusually long time to clear up, it's often a sign that the body is losing its ability to fight back. Even antibiotics, which once worked quickly, may seem less effective. A person may need stronger medications, longer recovery periods, or multiple rounds of treatment for infections that used to be minor. This happens because, as circulation slows and organ function declines, the body simply doesn't respond to treatment as well. Another overlooked issue is chronic wounds that don't heal properly. You may notice that small scratches, sores, or bruises linger for weeks instead of days. This is often due to poor blood flow when oxygen and nutrients aren't reaching the skin efficiently. The healing process slows down. Pressure sores, especially for those who are less mobile, become a serious risk and can lead to dangerous infections if not carefully managed. What's even more concerning is that infections in the final year of life often don't look the way we expect. Instead of a high fever, an elderly person may simply seem more tired than usual. They might be more confused, less interested in eating, or simply quieter than normal. In fact, for seniors, a sudden decline in mental alertness is often the first warning sign of an infection, even before physical symptoms appear. For families, watching a loved one go through repeated infections can be frustrating and heartbreaking. It's tempting to push for aggressive treatments, hoping that one more round of antibiotics or one more hospital stay will fix the problem. But at a certain point, the focus often shifts from curing to comforting. Instead of medical interventions that may only prolong suffering, sometimes the best thing we can do is make sure they stay hydrated, keep their skin clean and moisturized, and minimize stress on the body. If your loved one has been getting sick more frequently, or if small wounds seem to take forever to heal, it may be time to shift your focus. Instead of fighting against what's happening, think about how you can provide comfort and ease during this time. Simple things like keeping their surroundings clean, encouraging gentle movement when possible, and making sure they are well rested can do more for their well-being than any medication. In the final stage of life, the immune system naturally weakens. Recognizing this as part of the body's transition can help families prepare emotionally and practically for what's ahead. Instead of focusing on trying to stop the inevitable, the goal becomes ensuring that each day is as peaceful and comfortable as possible. If this is resonating with you, let us know in the comments. Share your experience or simply comment number 4 to let us know you're here. Sign number 5, major changes in breathing and circulation. One of the most telling signs that the body is preparing for its final stage is a noticeable change in breathing patterns and circulation. These changes often start gradually, but over time, they become more pronounced. You may notice that your loved one breathes more slowly or shallowly than before. Sometimes they might pause between breaths or their breathing might become irregular, speeding up and then slowing down unexpectedly. In some cases, a rhythmic breathing pattern known as Cheyne-Stokes respiration develops. This is when a person's breathing alternates between deep, rapid breaths and long pauses. It can be unsettling to witness, but it is a natural part of the body's decline. The respiratory system, like every other function, is slowing down. The body no longer requires as much oxygen as before, and as circulation weakens, oxygen levels in the blood drop. Another common change is weakened circulation. You might notice that their hands, feet, or even their nose and ears start feeling cold to the touch. Their skin may appear pale, bluish, or mottled, especially around the fingers and toes. This happens because the body is prioritizing blood flow to vital organs, reducing circulation to the extremities. It's a clear indication that the heart is not pumping as strongly as before. For family members, seeing these changes can be frightening. It's natural to want to help, to encourage them to take deeper breaths, or to worry that something urgent is happening. But in many cases, this is simply the body's natural way of slowing down. There may not always be a way to reverse these changes, but there are ways to make them more comfortable. Keeping the room cool, using a humidifier, or offering small sips of water can help ease discomfort. In some cases, medications or oxygen therapy can provide relief, but the focus shifts toward comfort rather than trying to fix the issue. If you notice these signs, changes in breathing, cold hands and feet, or a bluish tint to the skin, it's important to pay attention. These are indicators that the body is conserving energy and that circulation is slowing down. This is a time to be present, to offer reassurance, and to create a peaceful environment where they feel safe and at ease. The small but important things that bring comfort. As the body slows down, physical comfort becomes more important than ever. While medical treatments may no longer be the priority, simple acts of care can make a significant difference in a loved one's final weeks or months. One of the most meaningful things you can do is create a calm and peaceful environment. Loud noises, bright lights, or too much activity can feel overwhelming for someone whose body is in decline. Soft lighting, a quiet room, and familiar surroundings can help them feel at ease. Playing gentle music or an audiobook of their favorite stories can provide comfort, even if they are not fully responsive. Another key part of comfort care is maintaining good hygiene and skin care. As movement becomes limited, skin can become dry, irritated, or prone to pressure sores. Gently applying lotion, keeping bed linens clean, and repositioning them regularly can prevent discomfort. Even something as simple as brushing their hair or applying a warm washcloth to their face can bring a sense of dignity and care. For many seniors in their final stage, food and drink become less important. It's natural for appetite to fade, and forcing meals can often do more harm than good. Instead of focusing on large meals, offer small, easy-to-eat foods if they are willing. Sips of water, ice chips, or even a favorite flavored drink can help keep their mouth moist and comfortable. The goal is not to push food, but to provide gentle nourishment when desired. One of the most powerful things you can do is simply be there. Even if they are too weak to speak, even if they don't seem fully aware, your presence matters. Holding their hand, sitting beside them, or speaking softly can provide reassurance and peace. People in their final stage can often still hear and feel, even if they do not respond. Knowing that they are not alone can make all the difference. As the final days approach, these physical signs may become more pronounced. Breathing may slow significantly, pauses between breaths may grow longer, and the person may slip into a deep sleep that becomes harder to wake from. They may no longer respond to voices or touch, and their body may feel cool as circulation slows further. While this can be incredibly difficult for families to witness, it's important to remember that this is a natural process. The body is not suffering. It is simply shutting down in its own time. There is no need to panic or try to force them to wake up. Instead, continue to provide comfort. Keep the room peaceful. Speak gently. Hold their hand. Let them know they are loved. One of the most common fears people have is, will I know when it's time? The truth is, no one can predict the exact moment. But in the final hours, breathing often becomes irregular, with longer pauses in between. Hands and feet may become even cooler, and facial expressions may soften into a deep sense of calm. These are signs that the transition is near. For families, this is a time to say the things that matter most. If there are words left unspoken, now is the time to share them. Even if they cannot respond, they can hear you. Tell them that they are loved, that they are not alone, that it's okay to let go. These words bring peace not only to them, but to those they leave behind. These moments are never easy, but knowing what to expect can bring a sense of calm and understanding during an incredibly difficult time. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, comment number 5 below to let us know you're here. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the final part of this series. As the final days approach, emotions can feel overwhelming. Families often find themselves caught between wanting more time and knowing that their loved one's journey is coming to an end. It's natural to feel a mix of grief, anxiety, and even relief that their suffering will soon be over. But no matter how difficult this moment is, there are ways to prepare emotionally and find peace in the process. One of the most important things you can do is be present. It's easy to get lost in the fear of what's coming, but the time that remains is still valuable. Even if your loved one is no longer speaking, even if they are mostly sleeping, they can still feel your presence. Sitting beside them, holding their hand, and speaking softly can provide immense comfort. This is also a time to say the things that matter most. Many people worry about finding the right words, but the truth is, there is no perfect script. What matters is sincerity. If there are words left unspoken, whether it's gratitude, forgiveness, or simply I love you, now is the time to share them. Even if they cannot respond, they can hear you. If you are struggling with what to say, keep it simple. I love you. I'm here with you. You are not alone. These words carry deep meaning and provide reassurance, both for them and for you. Another way to prepare emotionally is to understand that grief often begins before loss happens. This is known as anticipatory grief. You may find yourself mourning even while your loved one is still with you, and that's completely normal. Recognizing these emotions can help you process them in a healthier way. Talking to a close friend, journaling, or simply allowing yourself moments to reflect can make this time more manageable. No matter how much time you've left with them, what matters most is how you choose to spend it. Being present, speaking from the heart, and embracing these last moments can bring a sense of peace, even in the midst of sorrow. As the body nears its final transition, the changes that began weeks or months earlier become more pronounced. Breathing may slow even further, with longer pauses between breaths. In some cases, breathing may become irregular, alternating between deep breaths and long silences. This is a natural part of the body shutting down, and while it may seem alarming, it is not painful. The hands and feet may feel even cooler to the touch, and skin may take on a pale or bluish hue as circulation weakens. Facial muscles may relax completely, and their expression may soften into a peaceful state. They may not respond to touch or sound, but they can still hear and feel presence. Some people in their final hours will have a sudden moment of clarity. They may briefly open their eyes, squeeze a hand, or speak a few words. This is known as the final rally and can be a profound experience for families. It is a brief moment where the person seems more alert before they fully let go. If this happens, cherish it. Hold their hand. Speak to them. Let them know they are safe and loved. Eventually, breathing will slow until it stops. There is no single moment that signals passing. It is a gentle, natural process. Some people pass quietly in their sleep, while others take their final breath surrounded by loved ones. No matter how it happens, what matters most is that they are not alone. As difficult as it is to witness, know that this is a transition, not an end. The love, memories, and moments you share do not disappear. They live on, carried forward in the lives of those left behind. When a loved one passes, emotions can be overwhelming. Some people feel shock, even if they knew it was coming. Others may feel an immediate sense of peace. There is no right or wrong way to grieve, but knowing what steps to take in those first moments can help bring clarity during an emotional time. The first thing to do is take a deep breath. Allow yourself a moment to sit with them, hold their hand, or simply process what has happened. There is no rush. If you need a quiet moment alone, take it. If you need to call someone for support, do so. If your loved one was receiving hospice or medical care, notify their care team. They will guide you through the next steps, whether that involves handling arrangements or providing necessary paperwork. If they passed at home without medical care, you may need to contact emergency services to report the passing. It's important to remember that in these first moments, there is no need to rush decisions. Take your time. Call a family member or a close friend if you need support. If you feel comfortable, spend a few moments with them before making arrangements. In the days following a loved one's passing, grief will come in waves. Some moments may feel heavy, while others may bring a sense of relief. It's important to allow yourself to feel whatever emotions arise, without judgment. It's also important to take care of yourself. Grief is exhausting, both emotionally and physically. Make sure you are eating, resting, and allow yourself time to heal. Surround yourself with supportive people who understand what you're going through. If needed, seek grief counseling or support group. Talking about your loss with others who have been through it can be incredibly healing. Remember that grief has no timeline. Some days will feel heavier than others. Some moments will bring unexpected tears, while others will bring quiet peace. Over time, the pain will soften, and what remains will be the love and memories shared. In the end, the most important thing is not how a person leaves this world, but the life they lived and the love they gave. That is what truly lasts. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this series, take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. The 5 key signs of final year: unexplained weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive changes, frequent infections, and major shifts in breathing and circulation are all part of the body's natural transition. Understanding these signs isn't about fearing death. It's about being prepared for it. When you recognize these changes early, you can offer better care, make important decisions ahead of time, and ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with love and dignity. If you are going through this journey right now, know that you are not alone. Many families have walked this path before, and while it is never easy, knowing what to expect can help you find strength, patience, and peace. If this video has helped you, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're comfortable, let us know one thing you learned or how you plan to use this information in your life. Your experiences matter, and your words may help someone else who is on the same journey. Thank you for joining us. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and cherish every moment with those you love.